Imagine being in a foreign country, alone, without internet, without knowing the language, and without money. Where do you go? What do you do? How do you survive? That's something I wanted to find out, and so I set out to walk 6,000 kilometers across Europe and the Middle East without money. I wanted to know, if it really came to it, would I be creative enough, resourceful enough, and determined enough to survive, to keep moving forward? In the Western world, where I grew up, there's almost always a safety net. And that's something I'm thankful for. But what if there wasn't? What if you had no backup, no way back? Wouldn't you fight that much harder? Be capable of so much more? I really believe that if you leave yourself no way out, you will find a way. Because you'll be forced to find the resourcefulness within yourself. And so, one mid-spring morning in 2018, I gave my wallet, credit cards, and any remaining cash to my father.
Leeg. Is het allemaal leeg? Ja? En de kind money?
Oh.
Oké.
Dan
Goeie reis, kerel.
Nog één keer die hand.
Goeie reis, jongen.
Je vader weet de weg, hè? Nou, naar Israël, toch?
Je weet de weg naar Israël.
Ja.
Dankjewel. Dankjewel. Komt goed.
Is het leuk om even een foto te maken van de
Ja, ik neem hem even aan. Dankjewel man. Ja, alsjeblieft. De laatste beetje eten.
Geef maar hoor.
Ja. Alsjeblieft. Ik heb nog een boterham van mijn ouders, dus dat komt het helemaal goed. Ja. From this moment onwards, I was completely on my own.
En kijk je er even op.
Yo.
My plan was to walk from Holland, where I was born, cross 13 countries, and eventually arrive in Jerusalem 6 months later. Why Jerusalem? Well, first of all, I'd never been there before, and I've always wanted to go. And secondly, by walking this route, I'd be walking, in part, the same route that the first Crusaders walked in the 1st century. And I thought, that's kind of cool. And to be honest, I simply wanted to go on another adventure. I had spent most of my 20s on the road. But the last 2 years, I had been working at Apple in their European headquarters. And the itch to get back on the road had been silently growing. And this journey was me breaking free from my life in the corporate world. My dad was confident that I would be able to pull it off, but he also thought that I was crazy for trying. And that's because my dad and we see the world very differently. In my travels, I've seen so much kindness and generosity that I'm convinced it's a natural part of who we are. But my dad, after 40 years of round-the-world business, he has become convinced that the world is a bad and rotten place where people will screw you over if you let them. And so, part of the reason why I wanted to go on this adventure was to show my dad that the world isn't nearly as bad as he thinks. So I was walking in Borger, one of the first towns I'm passing through, and I happened to talk to a man with the same name as me. His name is Henk, and he invited me to come in, gave me a cup of coffee and a sandwich. This is the first act of kindness. Of course, I made a selfie with the guy because he's going to be on the wall of kindness. I'm very excited and also a little bit hungry, so this sandwich is going to be great. It's a nice and sunny day. Only 10 more kilometers to go. So I made it to Westerbork, set up my camp. This is the first night. I'm actually very excited to sleep in my tent again. It's been almost 2 years since I was sleeping in nature, since I was on a real adventure. So it's gonna be good. I'm gonna eat something now, away from my camp, and then probably go to sleep. It was a good day's walk. The first few days, I was afraid to go into restaurants and ask for food. I had no idea how to do this, what to say, and to be honest, I was a little nervous. So instead, I went into supermarkets and I ate cheese. Dutch supermarkets also offer free coffee. And so, despite being a little hungry, at least I could be sure to get my caffeine fix.
In my research over the past few months about how to travel without money, I stumbled across this thing where they say a great way to get some food is to go to a bakery. And I hadn't tried it until now, but I figured let's give it a go. What I have to lose? I was in a small town here. It's around 4:30, and guess what? I got some food.
I've never really been afraid of the unknown. Growing up, I wanted to try everything. Sometimes that led to adventure, but other times to immediate regret. I remember one day, I was about 4 years old. I was walking around in a goat pen when I suddenly found black licorice all over the ground. So naturally, I began eating it. But I quickly learned that it didn't taste quite right. As I got older, my love for trying new things continued, and it turned me into somewhat of a quitter. I quit sports teams, universities, and even the Dutch Marine Corps. I hated that I was such a scatterbrain. But ironically, it also opened up a space for me to realize what I really wanted to do. I wanted to go on adventures. I wanted to challenge my mind and body in ways that most people wouldn't even think of. And after a decade of venturing into the unknown, I now know that once you step through that barrier of fear, it's never as bad as you had imagined.
Pretty good.
One of the best perks of an adventure like this is the unspoken rule that midday naps are not just allowed, but encouraged. And naturally, I fully embraced this travel hack.
I've also managed to kind of save my own stash of food over the last 4 days. And here's what it looks like. As you can see, the Netherlands has been very good to me. Very, very good.
After walking on my own for over a week, I posted an open invitation for anyone who wanted to join me and become a pilgrim for a day.
Good morning, guys. So today I'm walking with a couple of other people, and they're joining me for the day, for half a day. And it's great to be walking with other people again. Kind of feels like being on a pilgrimage in Spain again. This is Tanya, this is my brother Hans, and there's Susanna.
Hi.
Okay, here we are, Henk.
Yes,
Where
sir.
are we walking?
We are walking between Rijsbergen and what's the town we're going to?
Zundert.
Zundert. Yep, so all is good. How are the other pilgrims?
Yeah, very good. Well,
How are the feet?
one foot in front of the other, right?
That's it. It's great to be walking with other people.
And look, the great nature around us. This is the life we should lead.
Yes, nature is not a place we visit. It is where we belong.
Then we met Ari. He used to be a tree grower, but after a burnout, he reinvented himself and now runs an animal farm and teaches yoga in his barn. And he invited us to come and drink a tea.
Hi everybody, it's already 10:30 in the morning. I started a little bit late today. I spent the night at Peter and his wife's house. We sat around the fire, had a great dinner and great company. Look, there's a windmill there in the background. Welcome to Holland. Anyway, today I'm walking to Breda. I'll be stopping a little bit before Breda, sleeping in my tent again. The last few days I've just been sleeping at people's houses, so I'm really looking forward to sleep in my tent again. And another sunny day, so good times, buen camino, and talk to you later. Now I'm gonna disprove a very famous legend. I'm gonna walk under this giant ladder. And if I still make it to Jerusalem in one piece, that means the legend of walking under a ladder is shattered. Let's go.
Even though I was looking forward to sleep in my tent again, fate had other plans. I met Lena, who invited me into her student apartment.
All right, guys, I'm here with Lena from Germany. She's an international business student, and she invited me to stay on her very uncomfortable couch. And she's even cooking dinner for me. Amazing. So, yeah, have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.
My arrival in Breda happened to coincide with the annual jazz festival, and so we went to check it out.
Hello. So we're part of the parade now. Woohoo!
By now you must be thinking, a journey without money can't possibly be this easy. Well, as I neared the Belgian border, I realized that everything I had experienced so far was child's play compared to what lay ahead. Until now, I had found food every day. I had been blister-free, and I spoke the local language. But this would all soon change, and I felt an ever-growing sense of dread.
Halfway through the day, I kind of ran out of food, and I was quite worried. It's funny how when your backpack is full of food, you feel like you can take on the world. It feels like Jerusalem is a fact, it's gonna happen. But then, a few hours later, your backpack is empty, no more food, and suddenly you're like, it's a certain fact that I will fail. It's really interesting how this journey is, first of all, messing with my emotions, and second of all, it's really forces me to live day by day. If I worry about the next day, it just becomes too overwhelming. So I just have to focus on today. If I have food today, I'm happy today. And that's probably how it used to be back in the day. But it's a very interesting experience. Man, things switch so quickly when you're doing this. One moment, I haven't talked to anybody all day, but then you just ask for water and suddenly everything switches. I gotta just trust that it will be all right, because every time until now, it has been all right. However bad it gets, I will end up on my feet. I know that now. I'm in the middle of the city. I just walked up this hill back here, and I ended up in this little paradise in the middle of the city. So somewhere here, my resting place for tonight will be in my unfindable fortress. I'm pretty sure nobody will find me here. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying this, being hidden in the middle of a city, in a patch of woods. Nobody knows I'm here. I'm living outside of society. But then again, I just might be crazy. So today, an old friend is joining me. This is Mick from Germany. We met, I think it was 2011, 2012 in Australia. Mick, you got anything to say?
Oh, I love you, mama.
When I first traveled with Mick in 2012, I quickly realized his energy had no off switch. He's full throttle, unapologetic, and carries an unshakable belief that the world exists purely for his entertainment.
So today we rang at 3 doors and we got cookies, bananas, apples, and even a big bag of more cookies. When Mick first came, I wasn't sure if it would work with 2 people, right? But it turns out to work just as well, maybe even better.
Yeah, because I'm better looking and more sympathetic. That's so easy.
Man, you caught me there. Do you wanna stay a little bit longer? Cheers with the banana, bro. Fireman in action. Anything interesting?
Smells like shit.
So Mick, tell me what just happened.
Today we went to a bakery and we've got 4 beautiful broodjes.
Broodjes?
Broodjes.
We wondered, could you walk into a Starbucks and just ask for a coffee? I thought it was a bit too crazy, but then Mick was like,
Yeah, just go in there.
just go in
for
there.
it.
So we did it. I asked for coffee and they were like, okay. We got 3 coffees. We walked past the supermarket and I was like, well, let's go to the supermarket. Maybe we can find some free cheese to pick up and maybe a coffee. And then of course Mick is like,
Just ask the people for some food. Just do it.
we talked to the boss and the boss is like, what do you need? Well, let me show you what we got. Mangoes, bananas, apples, cheese, bread, Coca-Cola and a wine. This is absolutely amazing.
It is all possible, man. You just have to ask. That's simple.
That's what I'm learning right now, man. High five, Mick.
Yes, boy.
We're gonna have breakfast. So from the supermarket, we also got a bottle of wine, but we don't really need a bottle of wine at 9 a.m. in the morning. I actually forgot about Mother's Day. Sorry, Mom. So I just gave away the bottle of wine to a mother and thereby hopefully made up for my mistakes.
Any words to your mom, Henky?
Mama, I love you. Sorry I forgot about Mother's Day. I just dropped off Mick at the train station. He was with me for the last 2 days and now I'm on my own again.
You might be wondering why I talk about food so much. Well, if you don't have money, food pops into your mind all the time. It's a reflection of my fear of going hungry. And also, I made this documentary with the Henk from a few years ago in mind. I was afraid to take on this journey back then. And what you're seeing in this film is exactly what I wish I knew back then.
Now that's what I call a good find. Ha! Now that's a good backup for if things get tough. I was planning on setting up camp here in this field back here, and I saw these people sitting here, so I figured I'd say hi before they wonder who's this weird guy setting up his tent. And they were kind enough to offer me some whiskey, so now I'm enjoying a wonderful evening. Yes. Cheers. So it's 2 whiskeys later. My cup is being refilled with wine now. We have GPS delivered pizza, and I still haven't set up my tent because, well, haven't gotten around to it. It's 2 wines later this time. I finally set up my tent. They've gone to sleep as well. I have some pizza for tomorrow. I have some wine for tomorrow. I have some chips for tomorrow. I really love how these random meetings end up happening. I didn't plan on talking to them. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna say hi. Let's just give it a go, see what happens. Again, a wonderful evening. I love this. I absolutely love this. Good night, everyone.
At this point in my journey, I felt like I had figured out how to travel without money. And even though there were ups and downs, I had learned to trust. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I had faith that something or someone would come across my path. Was it God looking out for me? Was I just really good at this? Or could it be that we live in a friendly universe where people want to help? Of course, there were plenty of people who said no. People who said, pay for your own holiday. But I quickly learned, if I focused on the people telling me no, it would crush my motivation. So instead, I made a conscious decision to focus on the moments where people said yes.
So I just arrived in a small town called Nod, where I asked for some water, and it turns out to be the house of the mayor. He invited me in for dinner with all his sons and his wife. So I'm very amazed. It's another great day, sunny day, and I'll see you guys all later.
When I arrived in Besançon, I was invited in by Maxime and his friends. And of course, I did a little magic show.
Hello everybody, my name is Henk, and I have a little magic for you guys.
Tout à l'heure, quand il nous l'a fait tout à l'heure.
So we have 1, 2, 3. I give this to you.
I tried to be mindful of how I could give something back to all the people who helped me. For some, I could make their day by doing some magic. Others needed a listening ear. And sometimes, simply letting them be a part of the adventure was all they needed. I was a man without money, but was able to give back, creating a human connection.
I think I'm in someone's backyard, so I'm a little bit quiet. Pretty nice place. Brush my teeth, hit the sack. Good night. What's in the bag, Henk? How much does your backpack weigh? Let me give you an overview. First of all, here we have my tent. It's a snug pack tent, one person, very light. Inside I have a air mattress. I have a snug pack sleeping bag, which is very snug and warm. Probably a bit too warm for this trip, taking up a lot of space, but that's how it is. Aside from that, here is my snug pack backpack, which I'm using. I've used this on all my travels since 2011. I absolutely love it. In the top, I have some toiletries. Inside, I have a laptop because I'm writing my book. Here I have all the non-perishable foods. Here I have all the perishable foods like bread, salami that I've had for a while, an apple, some oatmeal cracker thingies that are running out, and as we say in Holland, ontbijtkoek. Aside from that, I have some electronics with me, sunscreen, water, camera, a hat, extra pair of socks, t-shirt, extra pair of underwear. Here I have some magic stuff, which I might be using somewhere along the way to get a sandwich. Here I have all some important stuff like passport, pilgrim passport, a pen, and all the little cards explaining what I'm doing in all the different languages. And of course some rain clothes. And that's it. Other than that, just the stuff I'm wearing on my body. Altogether, about 8 kilos. It's really not much, but really, you don't need much. Keep it light, keep it simple. Most of the things you need, you can always get on the road, probably cheaper. All right, guys, here's my plan for tonight. I'm going to walk over to that tree and set up my tent right there. Now, it's gonna be a little bit loud maybe with the train, but it seems there's not many trains driving here, and I just think it's awesome. But before I do, I'm first gonna jump off that diving board. So that's the plan. Now it's time to execute. All right, guys, time to jump into the water, cool off a little bit at the end of a long walk. I walked about 25 kilometers today. So here I go. Oh, that's good. Where's the exit?
As was often the case on this journey, I would try to make plans, but then life would show up and hit shuffle.
I wanted to set up my tent over there, but then these guys invited me to stay with them tonight, which is amazing. So I'm very thankful, and I wish you all a good evening.
And just like that, I had found new friends for the evening. Not long after, I met Mirna, who invited me to stay with her and her family. And they happened to have a jacuzzi in their back garden.
We're having pancakes with meat, a new experience.
Bon appetit!
Bon appetit, everyone.
Bon appetit!
The first few weeks of my journey, I carried around this black bag. It was my food stash. So whenever I received food, I'd put a little bit of it in this black bag as backup for when things would inevitably get tough. But over time, this bag became smaller and smaller until eventually I got rid of it. And that was the moment I truly began to believe that the kindness of strangers is something you can reliably depend upon. And with that trust came a lightness I had never experienced before.
Keep on walking. It's a scary tunnel. Let's see what's on the other side. Traveling without money can be incredibly scary because you don't know what's on the other side. But trust me, on the other side is a beautiful world. I'm now heading for the Alps. You can already see them in the background there. So it's gonna be a tough couple of days where I'll need quite a few calories to make it all the way up there. But I know on top of the Alps, there's a hospice, the Great Saint Bernard Hospice, and I know I can sleep there for free as a pilgrim. I'm in the Alps. I haven't reached the top yet, but I'm on my way. It's a little bit chilly, but not too much so. I've seen a little bit of snow. And also, this is the first big milestone I've reached. My journey to Jerusalem consists for me personally out of 3 milestones. The first one is reaching the Alps. The second one is reaching Turkey, which means I'm outside of Europe. And the third one is when I actually reach Jerusalem. It's starting to rain a little bit, which isn't so nice. But that's the update. All is well. Tomorrow I'll be walking down into Italy and then on my way towards Milan. I've arrived at the hospice here at the top of the Great Saint Bernard Pass. Now the question is, am I gonna be able to get a sleeping place here for free?
I asked the Catholic brothers running the hospice if I could maybe do the dishes in return for a bed, but they insisted I let them take care of me. I shared a wonderful evening with tourists and pilgrims, and the next morning I got up early to make my descent into Italy.
When I arrived in Vercelli, I intersected a pilgrim route leading to Rome. And being among fellow pilgrims meant I got lots of help. I seem to be at the headquarters of the Association for the Via Francigena. They offered me to stay here. I have a bed, and we're having dinner tonight all together with a bunch of other pilgrims. Cheers! There are many people here that have also walked to Rome or walked parts of the way to Rome. They're not connected to the church, I asked them, but they are helping strangers out. This is amazing. Sometimes you gotta take a shortcut. In this case, it's saving me a lot of time. Hello, tiny turtle. You are incredibly small, and yet you are a lot. Where are you going?
As I wandered across the north of Italy, I ran into a fellow adventurer whose journey was as unique as my own.
All right, guys, I'm here with Ross Simpson, the guy who is walking from the UK, running, sorry, we're running. Sorry about that, bro. Running from the UK all the way to Sicily for the Youth Cancer Trust. So I'm gonna run with them for a little bit, and then that's that. All I'm thinking is why is this guy doing this? Ross?
So I'm running for a charity called Youth Cancer Trust that provides support to people between 14 and 30 who have been diagnosed with cancer, who are in remission with cancer. And it's run by a group of really lovely people, the type of people that you'd want to have there to hold your hand through something like this.
Oh, sweat in my eyes. What do you do against sweat in your eyes?
Yeah, the bandana. I have to get bandana.
Bandana. How do you manage? How do you cope?
Just keep your eyes on the prize. Keep on thinking about that big bowl of pasta at the end of the day.
Big bowl of pasta. What if you can't pay for a big bowl of pasta? What do you do?
Eat someone else's big bowl of pasta, I think. Yeah. And I still don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm sure Henk might be in a similar situation. But
all right, guys, we're nearing the next town.
And that evening, we met a hostel owner who felt so inspired by both our journeys that he decided to let us stay for free.
So this morning, Ross and I are making some pillowcase coffee, and so we used our pillows as filter. Genius. In this hostel they have throwaway pillowcases.
I've had a bit of a mishap here. Oh. Now the pillow's being used to mop up the cup.
It's a multi-purpose thing. Ross and I are going our separate ways. Good luck on your journey to Sicily.
Yeah, you too, man. You
Thanks,
too.
man.
Good luck. Get to Jerusalem strong. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, it'll be all good. Take care.
Take care. See you.
Adios. So I ran into some very kind people who decided to offer me lunch. In fact, they are so kind, they have been feeding me since 1985. Yes, you heard it right, they are actually my parents, and they came to Verona to help me out.
We spent a few days together, including some walks. And of course, we all had matching backpacks.
How are your feet feeling today?
Very well, but not so snel.
What happened, Mom?
It's, hoe zeg je dat? Glad.
Slippery. Slippery, yes. Oh, here we have some donkeys.
Ja, er zit alcohol in.
Proost. Fueled by steak. This will probably bring me another 250 kilometers. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And then an old friend surprised me in his camper van. I met Tim back in 2011, a very long time ago in Australia, where we both worked for a winery. And since then, Tim has started a camper van business where he transforms his own campers for people that want to travel across Europe. He knew I was walking through Italy and he decided to come and find me. He offered us a coffee, we're hanging out. Great to see him again.
How do you drink the coffees?
With the mouth.
So, Tim, why did you start the camper van business?
Well, I was always loving traveling and everything around it. And I was traveling in a van in Australia for a few years. And I didn't have a clue what else to do.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is one of your vans, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was one of the first ones. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
As Tim and his girlfriend left, my parents headed to the airport as well, leaving me once again on my own. But they did leave me with a small airdrop of supplies, which I dearly needed because summer had arrived and the days were getting hotter.
Whew. Yep, I need a shower.
And I couldn't afford to smell bad because I was sure people would start to avoid me. So how did I know when it was time for a shower? Well, the dogs would let me know.
Well, at least one puppy loved me. Question is, where can I get a shower? I know, I can go to a hospital.
One of the most fascinating patterns I noticed on this journey was that if I looked too dirty, people seemed very reluctant to help me. But at the same time, if I was too clean, they were also less likely to help. But if I stayed right in the middle of what was socially acceptable, that's when people were most willing to help. And so I always made sure to be not too clean and not too dirty. I just walked into a hospital and nobody asked me any questions whatsoever. And then I found a toilet that also has a shower. So I'm gonna take a shower now and I'll see you all when I'm clean. I feel so much better after that shower. I guess I can go another week without washing now. Just walked into this place to ask for some water and now they've given me sandwiches, they're giving me a beer, even some food for on the road. So they just signed my pilgrim passport, Casa Maria, that's where I am. Casa Maria di Ferrarese.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Ciao.
Wow, I'm so amazed. So I just asked this gentleman for water at his house a couple of minutes ago, and now he came and found me on the side of the road, and he brought me a whole bag full of food. Gracias, multi gracias, señor. I keep using the word amazing, I know, but man, this is just so exciting. This is actually working, traveling without money. I can't believe it myself sometimes.
While strolling through a town near Venice, my energetic friend Mick made another appearance. He was road tripping along the Adriatic Sea with a friend and took a detour to catch up with me.
Thank you!
Wie geht's?
My Dutchy buddy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
How you going? Yeah, all
Very
good?
good, very good.
Oh, what a drive. How are you doing? This is Jens, Henky, Jens.
Jens, nice to meet you, man.
May I introduce to you? This is Dirty Betsy. And these two metal pigs made it over the Alps. So we started in Cologne. We went up to Bodensee, from Bodensee over the Alps to the Gardasee, from the Gardasee now to here. And from here on we're gonna go to Slovenia and Croatia. And then after 4 days we're gonna go back with these dirty bikes. Yes, boy.
That night, we camped in the wild and sipped beers beneath the open sky.
We just set up our camp. We have some Johnny Cash on the radio. We created our own bench here. And now we're just enjoying a beer.
Just as quickly as we had said hello, we found ourselves saying goodbye. Such is the traveler's way. And even though I often had long stretches of solitude, I had learned to trust that another high was just around the corner.
Oh, man, eat pizza. I have my own little room tonight. Yes, I made it to Slovenia.
Yo!
Yo! So I'm here with a couple of guys from Liverpool.
Scousers.
They are traveling across Europe in their car.
Yep.
We're just in Slovenia, yeah.
we've
We
just
bumped
met
into
our
this guy,
mates.
yeah, look.
Hey guys, my name is Henk and I'm on a journey
Henk his name is.
from Holland to Jerusalem. 6,000 kilometers across 13 countries without money.
We're
Making
gonna
my
give him
day.
some money. We're gonna give him some chocolate and water. Look. Look, chocolate.
Oh,
Chocolate.
this is my day, man.
Give him some water. Give him some water. Yeah.
Thank you guys, I
Yeah.
appreciate the kindness. Wow. What is your name, man?
My name's Steve.
Steve. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Hansi.
Hansi, nice to meet you. Croatia.
There's 200 kunas.
Are you sure?
Yes, 200 kunas.
I appreciate that, man. You're
Yes.
making my day.
We went into the woods, we found monkeys.
You were chasing a monkey.
Yeah, I hope you
Chasing
don't-
a monkey.
I hope you don't
We
think
went off-road
we've
in
lost them.
Slovenia in the woods.
Thought that you would know whether there was monkeys in there because have you seen it's a big forest up there.
Yeah, no, I slept there last night and I didn't see any monkeys.
No, I think there's gotta be monkeys. Maybe it was someone's pet.
That evening, I kept an eye out for pet monkeys. But all I found was my next place to sleep.
That's gonna be my camping spot. Good night, guys.
I spent only one day in Slovenia. Because I was following the Adriatic coastline, I could cut through the corner of Slovenia and complete the 30-kilometer stretch in a single day's walk. And so, I suddenly found myself in beautiful Croatia.
Taking a midday nap. Why? Because I can.
By now, I had fully embraced the simplicity of my life. No deadlines, no obligations, just the possessions I carried on my back. And I began to think that, technically, this journey could go on forever.
Today, I'm just going to be where my feet are. I have all the food I need for today. I have a coffee. And I have a beautiful beach.
It might seem like my journey was pretty easy going. I had figured out how to get food, my body had adapted to walking 30 to 40 kilometers each day, and the weather was pretty good too. But don't let the enchanting music fool you. There were plenty of hardships to be found.
Hey guys, so the last 2 days I've kind of been struggling to get by. It's been a bit tougher to get food. A lot of bakeries have said no. Part of the reason is that I'm in a really big town where a lot of different pilgrimages intersect, so they're very familiar with pilgrims, and so my pitch isn't working as well. Aside from that, I also dropped my iPhone, so I have a crack in my screen, which is really a bunch of negative stuff happening all at once. Good morning, guys. So I just found something really disgusting. My entire tent is covered in slugs. This is happening every single morning. Let me show you what I mean. Disgusting. Time to shine and kick some ass. The slugs were attracted to the humidity and warmth of my tent. And as the night progressed, dozens of them would gather all over my tent. And so I spent the first 5 minutes of each day flicking my slimy neighbors off my property. There were ticks. There were blisters growing on top of blisters, and my gear was slowly falling apart. I had to deal with ant infestations, vitamin deficiency, and of course, mosquitoes.
Oh, I really don't want to get up because it means I have to face all these hundreds of mosquitoes out there.
But over time, I realized that the only way to deal with these hardships was to reframe them. I'd ask myself, why is this a gift? Why is this an advantage? It felt like a ridiculous question at first, and my brain would instantly object to it. However, since what you focus on is what you perceive, I eventually began to recognize the gifts hidden within the hardship.
Oh man, my tent is infested by ants. Oh no, wait, they're actually cleaning up my tent. That's amazing. My comb is slowly falling apart, but on the upside, it does mean my backpack is getting a little bit lighter every single day.
Was it really true though? Are ant infestations and blisters really a gift? Yes and no. You see, reality is subjective, and you get to choose what you focus on. You can focus on why it sucks, or you can focus on why it's actually a good thing. There's an infinite list of disadvantages, but there's also an infinite list of advantages. Why would you only look at one of these lists?
Time to get up. At the moment, my routine is as follows. I get up early in the morning and I start walking while it's still cool. Walk about 20 kilometers, and then when it gets hot, like right now, I find a place in the shade, do some sleeping, meditating, editing these videos, and then in the evening when it cools off again, I walk another 10-15 kilometers, and then I find a place to camp in the wild. And tonight, that place is here.
As I journeyed through Croatia, the country was getting ready to battle against France in the 2018 World Cup final. Now, I've never cared much about soccer, but this time I was worried. You see, if Croatia lost to France, the people's mood might sour, and with it, the generosity that I relied on. So my very survival was tied to the game. And for the very first time, I found myself invested in the World Cup. And now I just needed to find someone willing to let me watch it.
So I just had a shower, I washed my clothes, and I even tried to cut my hair. Please tell me it looks good. Now, the plan is to find a place where I can watch the finals of the World Cup, Croatia versus France. Let's see where I end up.
My plan was to walk into a restaurant, get to know some of the employees, and hope that they would invite me to stay for the World Cup. I did a little bit of magic, and soon after, they offered me a cup of coffee.
Guys, why did you decide to help me?
Because we are Christianity, and we have Spirit of God.
And then they invited me as their guest of honor for the World Cup match.
Well, the World Cup is over, Croatia lost, and all I'm thinking is, I'm happy I still have a can of tuna in the bottom of my backpack.
Losing the World Cup had no influence on the Croatian generosity whatsoever.
So the World Cup is over. This gentleman just gave me some popcorn, which he still had left. oranges and now also a t-shirt. What's his name?
Modric, Luka Modric.
Modric. Farmer just gave me a big piece of bread and a gigantic piece of cheese. All right, it's time for dinner. Tonight I'm eating bread with some pate, perhaps a little bit of honey on it, and I have an orange. It's not perfect, but it'll do just fine. Besides, I have a very nice view to enjoy. So you think it's stupid, this trip, or?
In my mind, it is not normal, yeah. But are you thinking about marriage?
Yeah, one day I definitely want to get married.
When you pass 50, yeah.
No, a lot sooner. I mean, if I meet someone today, it would be great. But I don't want to stay in one place waiting to meet somebody if I can also do the things I love, which is travel. So I believe when you do what you really love, you will meet the people you're supposed to meet along the way.
It is for one breakfast for you.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is, you understand? Yeah.
Tuna, yeah,
tuna. You
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Time for a little jump. All right, here we go. This is looking a lot better. I think this could be tonight's campsite. Coming up in 5, 4, 3. Oh, I don't want one of those right there. 3, 2, and ladies and gentlemen, we have found tonight's sleeping place. Right here in this grass, close to the road, but hey, who cares? Bearings, 10 poles. Yeah, baby. All right, the tent is set up. Time to go to sleep. It's 5 a.m. Time to get up and start walking before the heat of the day. Behind me, you see the beautiful city of Dubrovnik. It's very expensive there. Not that I would know the difference. And it's very hot too. Man, I'm walking uphill and cars are passing me by very close. It's about 3.5 months in now, and I'm kind of starting to get sick of all the walking. And mostly of not being able to choose what I want to eat. I want my money again. I don't want to be dependent anymore on others.
Every once in a while, I had to remind myself of all the hard things I had already overcome. One of the greatest things about doing something that's hard is that after you've done it, you can add it to your victory vault. A place in your mind where you store reminders of all the times you powered through, faced the fear, or simply didn't give up. And then, when things get tough, you can reach for one of those memories and let it remind you that you'll be able to handle this too.
Haha! Breakfast is served. Delicious.
After a short week in Montenegro, it was time to enter Albania, the country I dreaded the most. Some call it the India of Europe, and as a penniless traveler, this made me both intrigued and anxious.
So I'm here in rural Albania. There's not a lot of cities or bakeries, so it's a bit hard to get food because pretty much there's only cafes. I'm not getting a lot of food, and the biggest problem is communication. I don't speak the language. Now I do speak the few sentences that explain my journey and that ask for food, but can't really accept that I'm walking from Holland to Jerusalem. A few people have told me, no, that's impossible. That would take more than a year. And I'm like, no, believe me, it takes 6 months, but it just does not compute. The impossibility of this journey is kind of working against me now. In every new country, I have to experiment again. In every new country, I have to start from scratch, figure out what works, what doesn't. And even though the Albanian people are incredibly kind, it is proving to be a very difficult country. amazing. So I just asked in this restaurant if they could help me out in any way, if they maybe had a little bit of food that they had to throw away. They were happy enough to help. So I'm here with my new Albanian friends who gave me a very strong drink. It's a biological drink.
Prost, prost. And the raki from Albania. Strong drink from Albania, raki.
So we don't speak the same language, but we can imitate animals. And that's pretty much all we do. But anyway, we have a strong drink with honey in it and some biological cheese. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Henk. You? Henk?
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Shafid. Miri.
And Jimmy, Shafid, Chiti, and Miri, Mirushi. Hadi prost. Look now.
Crazy guys, but this is fun.
Akkurte Martoj bre Henku. Akkurte Martoj bre Henku.
I don't really remember anything after that, but I later found the video footage showing that I somehow managed to set up my tent.
Nearly 8 o'clock. I'm starting a little bit late today. A little bit of breakfast, then we walk to the Albanian mountains. That's where I need to go. I'm about halfway there. Where exactly does this meat come from? From the mountain. The goats in the mountain. Ah, I understand. So it's fresh biological meat from the mountains right there. Right on my plate. Kannst du vielleicht ihm fragen, wieso mich hilft? Wieso hat entschieden, mich zu helfen?
Ist männlich. Hat auch früher in die Straße geblieben und
kann pra nuk dhe ndihmën e të tjerë.
War Flüchtlinger und
Okay.
hat akzeptiert die Hilfe auf die anderen Leute.
Ah, okay, und das ist so für ihn, dass er zurückgeben
Und
kann.
jetzt er kann das zurückgeben.
Ja. Super.
Das ist
Faleminderit.
Faleminderit. Dankeschön.
Danke. I'm sick of the walking. I noticed that it's getting harder to get up in the morning. It's harder to make videos because I don't really care anymore. I just want to get it over with. But I still have over 2,000 kilometers to go. So I've had this before on other journeys. I know it will pass. Maybe it's kind of a midlife, mid-journey crisis. That's probably it. All you can do is just keep going. Continue to make your goals small so you feel a little bit of success, progress along the way. And just suck it up, tough through. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, keep walking. Guys, so I'm here in Greece and went to a bakery and asked for some old bread, but I got a whole bag of bread. You wouldn't believe it. It's incredible. Here in Greece, it seems to be the kindest country of them all. She didn't even hesitate. It's like, yes, I'm gonna help you.
But the very next morning, my bread was infested by slugs.
They're everywhere, man. Look at them. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat that anymore. Looks like someone chewed through my bag as well.
Guess from now on, I'll have to really make an effort to find a tree or somehow suspend the food, because I can't afford to lose my food to these guys. This is a problem.
What's wrong, puppy? These dogs just came out of nowhere. You're so little. You're tiny. You want to come with me? Who's gonna come with me? You? You or you? I don't have any food. I'm the guy without money.
Having these dogs follow me was actually quite dangerous because I was approaching a busy intersection. And sadly, to make sure they didn't get injured, I had to scare them off.
Hey, buddy. How are you doing?
This is how I feel sometimes. Walking on the side of the road next to all the fast cars. Is there anybody that feels like a little midnight snack? Here's a big one.
Uh-oh, here's a bear warning.
I think that's a bear who shit out some seeds, but they're definitely here. Hey, bear.
To be safe from the bears, I had to find a place to camp that was surrounded by walls or fences.
Tonight I'm setting up camp here on this abandoned Greek soccer field. It's literally perfect because there will be no animals, no dogs visiting me. I can just keep my food next to my tent.
With all the bear and wolf warnings in Greece, I made sure I never slept with any food in my tent.
Today I have to walk 40 kilometers along this stupid highway to reach Janitsa, the next town. I'm not looking forward to it. Here's my view for the rest of the day.
Here we go. Ant infestation. This is why you don't keep food in your tent. I accidentally left something in my bag. Oh boy.
Here's my new creative head protection in the hot Greek sun. I found some free food on the side of the road. All for nothing. You know, I actually wonder, would it be possible to walk around Europe, walk around the world, only foraging? So not buying anything, not getting any food from anybody, just using the nature-provided food. All these beautiful peaches. They could feed me for a week. Uh-oh, the sun's going down. I better find a place to camp. And now I disappear into the woods. Only one car that saw me, I think. So, somewhere here, probably right here, I'll set up my tent. I'm a little bit sick at the moment. I've been throwing up. I've had the other thing come out of the other side. So today I'm just taking it very slow, eating only minimal of food because I just don't feel like eating, even though I am hungry. And drink a lot of water. And yeah, just take it slow. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow.
I suspect it was the wild grapes I ate earlier that day. I didn't have much water left, and so I decided not to wash them. Of course, that was a rookie mistake. But luckily, after taking it easy for a day, I was back to hitting the road.
You know what I love most about this trip? It's the perfect excuse for wearing the exact same shirt for 100 days in a row. Oh, we got a Greek salad. We got souvlaki, we got French fries. All thanks to these guys. Yes. Yeah. Show me the magic trick that you just learned. All right, there we go. And it's gone. Oh. Amazing. Yeah.
Wait.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have some really nice dinner thanks to these guys. And oh, here's Mr. Thug Life. In the flesh. Yes. I'm watching the stars tonight. Near the end of my time in Greece, as I was just about to cross into Turkey, I encountered a family from Argentina who have been traveling the world by bicycle for over 2 years. What made you guys decide to just leave it all behind and start doing this?
When we start to listen to our heart.
So you are raising your child on the way, teaching them on the road?
Yeah, actually us, but the hard work do the life.
Life is doing the hard work of teaching them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are just walking beside him. When we see something interesting, we stop and we talk with people, and the people teach us, not only to him, teach us too.
Do you speak English?
¿Hablas inglés?
A little?
Poco.
Poco.
Italiano, español.
Italiano, español. ¿Cómo estás? Are you guys ever afraid that dangerous things happen, or?
No. When you have fears, it's because you don't do it. You don't try to do it. Actually, the fear is like a wall. But when you cross it, you see it's like a cloud, you know? It's just a smoke. You can do it.
So they have this book with them in their baskets. That's in part how they seem to finance their trip. They're like me, really trusting that everything will fall into place.
We sell just only the people who really need to read the book. We don't go for people. The people came to us, if talk, they are interested, they can buy it. If not, it's okay.
Where are you guys gonna sleep tonight?
We don't know.
You have a tent or?
Tent, 100% tent.
Yeah, so maybe a tent, maybe you meet somebody, maybe you go.
We don't know. Actually, we just travel. We feel our heart.
So you trust that every day things will fall into place, and
since 2 years and 4 months, every night we found a place to sleep.
Every night?
Every night. Yeah.
I can just see it in your eyes. You are worry-free.
No, of course. And actually, in this trip, we discovered something. Without the help of people, we can do nothing. Actually, to learn to walk, somebody had to teach you.
My friend,
thank you very much.
Take care. I wish you a good life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Alaikum salam.
I'm having a nice coffee here with a group of Turkish men in a small village. I was just doing some magic with the 4 stones. And yeah, now we're just enjoying the weather. Merhaba.
Merhaba, okay.
In Turkey, I first planned to walk through Istanbul, but dreading the big city, I chose the southern route via Kanakale. This spared me days of urban trekking, but it did mean that I would have to somehow find a way across the Dardanelles Strait. Little did I know that I was about to meet a family who would solve all my problems.
I'm here with a Turkish family. They invited me in for dinner. I'm eating a soup with some milk. We have bread.
Chicken döner.
Chicken döner is coming up.
Salata.
Oh.
Salata.
Salata.
Pilav. Pilav.
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. You see this guy here? That's this guy right here, famous Turkish actor. Having a coffee now, and he called the local journalist. It's crazy what's happening here. Hey. Thanks to the Turkish family where I just had dinner, they told me if I take the ferry on the right, I don't have to pay anything because it's actually for free to go to a town called Çardak. So that's where I'm going now. Here is the ferry. Here we go.
When my birthday came around, it was going to be just another long day of walking along the highway. But when I stopped at a restaurant for a break, the staff looked me up on Instagram and surprised me with a cake.
Happy birthday, Henk! Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Henk!
This is amazing. This is amazing. How did you find out? You looked on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Wow.
You're welcome.
What a surprise. Happy turkey, Henk.
Oh.
You guys are amazing.
Okay, no problem. Gentleman.
Make a wish.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. It's just unbelievable how kind the Turkish people were to me. There he is. Wow. Thank you. Salam alaikum. I'm having breakfast with all the employees.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Honey and cream, the breakfast of choice with the Turkish people.
Misal Yunanistan olmuş.
Honey and cream.
My journey was filled with these fleeting moments of connection. They were often short-lived and filled with language barriers. But I realized that connection isn't about the perfect translation of thoughts. It's about acknowledging our shared humanity. And for that, no words are needed.
Yes. Yes. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, this is amazing.
Şunu getir. Bağla ağzını. Bağla güzel.
Goats everywhere.
I am here in the downtown Antalya, and I am here with Nancy and Nancy. They are both Dutch. They have been living here for years and years, and they have a boutique hotel here. They just offered me breakfast, and they also offered me a place to sleep for tonight, so I'll actually be sleeping on a real mattress. Now, that has been weeks. Oh, I got my own room for tonight. There is a shower.
By now, it had been 161 days since I had quit money and began this walk. I had learned to trust that things would fall into place. And without the usual certainties like money, a network of friends, a fallback plan, or even the ability to communicate, I felt my confidence shift inward. Instead of looking outward for a sense of control, I found myself relying on the quiet certainty that no matter what, I would find a way forward. And this was put to the test once more when I had to find a way to get from Turkey to Cyprus. It turned out that the last ferry of the season had already left, and so I was stuck. But I looked back on my journey so far and remembered that the only way I had gotten this far was because of the kindness of strangers. And so I went out and spoke to as many people as possible, doing magic tricks, telling my stories, sharing a laugh, and always sharing my challenge of how I couldn't get to Cyprus. In the end, several people came together and bought me a 19-euro flight. And just like that, I had made it to the island of Cyprus.
I'm here with Anastasios, a priest from a small town called Pirga here on Cyprus. And he just invited me to a coffee and a sandwich. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Will do.
Tonight, I have to find a place to sleep somewhere in this wasteland. Somewhere there, behind those trees. Just over the hill, behind the trees. And where did I end up camping? Well, very different from what I thought. I'm just gonna stand right here under this tree. Still a couple of 100 meters from the highway. And it's home for tonight.
At this point, I had covered around 5,000 kilometers on one pair of boots. The soles were completely worn, and they didn't smell very good either. But the entire journey, 6,000 kilometers, I did on this one pair of boots. My journey across Cyprus was over before I knew it. And just as in Turkey, generosity found me once again. People stepped in and made sure I had a flight to Haifa, Israel.
The whole area is surrounded by jackals. Luckily, they're not after me. They are like hyenas, where they eat dead corpses and stuff. And all my food is stored in a tree 25 meters away from my camp. Jackals.
And in Israel, I was welcomed with open arms.
We're eating hummus with pita bread.
This kind family ended up taking me in, and suddenly I found myself part of a traditional Sabbath dinner, also known as a kiddush. And I was introduced to the entire neighborhood.
All right, we are here in the men's corner, and men drink beer. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Franziskaner Weissbier in Israel. It's been a long time. I am here staying with Neve and Susanne. We're just having a little late night snack, and we're just having a little bread with butter.
Of course, we have to bless the bread, and this man knows exactly how to do that.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
Amen.
Amen. So I'm here walking with Niv. Last night I stayed at his place. He's walking with me because in the Torah there are many commandments, 613 to be precise, and one of them is when you have a guest, when they leave your house, you walk with them. And as I understand it, this is from the time of King David, where he would walk with his guests to be safe so they were not attacked or anything like this. Is this correct? Yeah. So I'm all set for the day. Niv, I wish you all the best.
All the best.
Thank you, my friend. And yeah.
Have a nice trip.
Thank you, will do. Here's a sign, Jerusalem. I'm getting close. The terrain is starting to get more hilly. My entire journey for 6 months, I've been visualizing myself walking down into Jerusalem at the end. But then I discovered Jerusalem is actually 800 meters higher than the surrounding area. So I actually have to walk up. The last challenge, then this is over.
After 192 days, I entered the city of Jerusalem. I was greeted by Dutch and Israeli film crews. They were waiting for me and wanted to capture my final steps to the Western Wall on film. I felt bittersweet. I was happy to have arrived, but also sad that my walking journey was coming to an end.
I'm very curious if I will get emotional or not. They say there's a lot of energy here, religion, it's just a special place. So this is the real moment. The journey is over, guys. Thank you for following along. 6,000 kilometers, 13 countries without money. Only possible thanks to you guys, the kindness of strangers. You have made this journey possible, and I am eternally thankful for all the kind-hearted help you've given me.
Along the way, some people I had met had handed me small slips of paper with their prayers, asking me to place them in the cracks of the Western Wall. I took that responsibility to heart, knowing that I was bringing a piece of their hopes with me. Of course, my parents were there waiting for me.
Pap, goed. Goed, met jou? Mooi, goed, heel goed.
Ja.
Dan ben je er eindelijk.
Ja, ja. Daar sta je dan. Het is in één keer benen. Het gaat denk ik heel snel dan. Dus vanuit mam.
Hey, yo. We are proud of you.
Thank you, dankjewel.
One of the reasons for going on this journey was to show my dad that the world isn't as rotten as he thinks. And so I asked,
So Dad, you've been following my journey to Jerusalem. Do you still think the world is a bad place?
Yes, I believe there are a lot of good people, but still there are a lot of burnt, rotten people. And the world is rotten.
And of course, he's right. There's plenty of bad in the world. But as you've seen, there's also a lot of good. Here's the thing. You get to choose what you focus on. The bad, the good, both are true. Of course, keep an eye on your freedoms. But try to live mostly in the light and focus on the things that serve you.
Portemonnee-ceremonie.
Heb jij je portemonnee weer terug?
Maar met portemonnee, met geld, komt de angst om het weer te verliezen. Dus nu kan ik mijn portemonnee weer kwijtraken.
Je kan het niet teruggeven aan je vader.
Ja. Father David, thank you so much. This is incredible. Guys, the testimonium proving that I made it safely to Jerusalem after the long journey.
And so my walk had come to an end. For 6 months, Jerusalem had been my sole focus. But of course, it was never really about the destination. The real story was in the steps. The ones that moved me forward and the ones that set me back. It was the people I met along the way, the countless acts of kindness, and of course the lessons the road had taught me. Purpose was never waiting for me in Jerusalem. It had been with me the whole time. Because purpose isn't a place you reach, it's something you create, step by step, by doing something that is meaningful to you. And so, these days, back in my normal life, I continue to ask myself, how can I spend my time well? And the answer to that question changes all the time. Right now, it's being in one place. It's having my own pots and pans and just hanging out with friends. But I know one day that answer will change. The road will call me. And when that day comes, adventure awaits.
All right, here I have the long-awaited beer. I was really looking forward to this. At the moment, I have a very big cold. I think now that the mission is accomplished, I think my body is kind of subconsciously saying, okay, now it's fine to crumble down and get sick. So that's what's happening right now. I'm still enjoying this beer though. And this afternoon, I'm gonna go for a nice long sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, cheers.
If you want to hear the untold side of the journey, check out the book that holds all the stories the camera missed, the unseen moments, the hard choices, and what it really meant to live without money. You can grab your copy now. Just follow the link below.